I think one of the coolest things about people's art styles is that it's an amalgamation of everything that has ever inspired them, either being by deliberate choice or more subconsciously. In themes, in character design, in storytelling, in the way of coloring, in the anatomy, or even in the way you add highlights in the eyes, your style reflects your artistic journey. Yeah, this is a reminder that one obsession you developed when you were 14 is gonna follow you for the rest of your life. Why am I telling you this? Well, because in this video I'm gonna be reflecting about some of my favorite pieces of media ever and how they influenced my art. And while doing it, I'm gonna draw myself as a character from those worlds, 100% out of self-indulgence, and to try to practice mimicking art styles, but mostly out of self-indulgence. Before we actually start with the different art styles, I'm drawing myself in my own style, as a point of comparison. If I had to point at what I consider to be the most distinguished parts of my style, I could say it's the painterly look with the lack of lines and the fan textures. Just a spoiler for the rest of the video, every style that heavily involves liner is gonna be a big headache for me. To be fair, my art style is always changing and evolving, so in some months it will probably be completely different, but this is it right now. And with this out of the way, we can start with the first art style of my list. I obviously went with Hollow Knight, considering most people that follow me are here because of those Hollow Knight videos I made. I tried to mimic the art style from the official character art because it's a bit more rendered than the models in-game. Most art styles in this video are from pretty famous shows, movies and games, so I'm pretty sure you'll be at least familiar with the concept of them. But I am still gonna give a small explanation of what they are about, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Hollow Knight is an indie game where you are a little insect exploring an ancient kingdom that has been plagued by an infection turning all the other critters into violent husks. So yeah, I obviously couldn't draw a human design for this one. I asked people what type of insects I remind them of, and a good bunch of them said moth, and that's cool, moths are cool. Most of them. I looked at all the moth characters in the game and I analyzed what their common features were. Apart from some common traits between all of them, there's a lot of variety between the character design, so that gave me a lot of freedom to design my character. I gave it big eyes similar to the seer, big antennae, and how could I not? A mothwing cloak. I also made it fluffy because what's the point of drawing moths if you don't make them extremely fluffy? If this character was in-game, I'm pretty sure he couldn't be a boss, probably just an NPC or random ghost that succumbed to the infection. But hey, they sure are a very silly little guy. The next style I wanted to try was Pokemon. I already tried the Pokemon art style for my Pokemon redesign video, but that one only included monster design, so I wanted to try the trainer style. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go with the style from earlier games or from the latest ones, but in the end I went with the modern style because I really wanted to draw myself with Fuecoco. I love that silly Spanish skater so much. I'll fight anyone that disrespects him. I don't need to explain Pokemon. You're familiar with Pokemon. Everyone is familiar with Pokemon. If you show any Pokemon to your mom, she could immediately say, "That's a Pikachu," which, even incorrect, just proves my point on how popular Pokemon is. Here I decided to change my clothes for something more Pokemon appropriate, and with that I mean flashier clothes. If I compare my character with team leaders, I could have gone a lot further with the outfit design aspect, but for a random rival or NPC, it works fine. I added a little Sphere drawing in my shirt because after drawing Fuecoco I wanted to add Sphere, but I had the feeling if I added Sphere, I could have wanted to add other Pokemons and then I could have spent most of this video just drawing Pokemons, so I had to show some restraint and limit myself to only one Pokemon. But yeah, Sphere served to honor the round boy. For the extremely nitpicky Pokemon experts in the comments, yes, I know that this couldn't be game accurate because the Pokemon games have their own alphabet and symbols, and wouldn't have a certain English, but who cares? Funny graphic tees always makes your drip go harder. Making this video reminded me of a Splatoon, and then I realized I've missed a Splatfest and a Salmon Run. Oops. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get into Splatoon until the third game. My partner did play Splatoon 2, and when they announced the third one, we watched the live stream announcement together. And I was like, yeah, seems pretty fun, but I don't know if it's worth 60 bucks. And then, at the end of the live stream, they showed the greatest video game character of all time, Big Man. Then I knew I must play the game. But yeah, the character design in that one game is pretty cool. I stole my partner's Splatoon art book to use it as reference. And man, the concept art is so fun and colorful and chaotic in the best way possible. For the people unfamiliar with this game, Splatoon could be summarized as paintball, but with squids. I'm not gonna go in full detail with the game lore as you don't want me to. It gets extremely weird real fast. I made my character an Octoling, aka an octopus person, because as everyone knows, they are better than Inklings. I made my ink mostly orange, but with a tint of light blue for contrast, similar to some of the idols' designs. Also, yes, I'm one of those people that listen to the Splatoon soundtrack outside of the game. Oh, don't be so judgmental. The soundtrack is pretty good. Except Three Horn Circus, that one sucks. Anyways, here's my character, and as always, all hail the big man. The reason I wanted to start this video was mainly because I wanted to have an excuse to draw in the Dungeon Messi art style and talk about Dungeon Messi because Dungeon Messi is one of my favorite pieces of media of all time. And I haven't watched the anime yet, I've only read the manga, but it has resonated with me like no other piece of media. And guys, it's so good, check it out! I'd love to make a full video on Dungeon Messi if people are interested. I'm extremely passionate about this. I don't wanna go into many details here, but basically Dungeon Messi is about a group of adventurers that go on a mission to rescue one of their teammates that has been eaten by a dragon. In the meantime, they must traverse the dungeon filled with monsters, having to eat them to survive. It's a very funny manga with extremely lovable characters, but don't read it expecting a light-hearted slice of life. It gets intense and weird very quickly. To all of you that have watched the first season, guys, you don't know what's coming. Anyways, I made myself a gnome, because after doing research, I feel it is the fantasy race that could fit me the most, apart from tall men. But if I have any alternatives to picking a human in a character design, I'm going with the alternative, which is ironic, considering my favorite character is Laios. But he could agree with me. Also, I just want to mention that the Spanish title of Dungeon Messi is Dragones y Mazmorras, which is unironically the best translation of any piece of media I've ever seen. Oh wow, I like the Spider-Verse movies. What a controversial opinion. No, really, is there any artist that hasn't been inspired by these movies? I'm struggling to find anything to say that hasn't been said before, and I'm pretty sure everyone has watched those movies. But if you are one of the 3 people out there that haven't, what are you waiting for? Even if you are not a Spider-Man fan, you'll probably like them. They are just that good. I just went with a basic spider suit. I couldn't spend more time that I already had with a certain other style, thinking about special powers and intricate outfits. But you know what? I like the simple look on this one, and I spent most of the preparation time studying dynamic poses to make the design look like an actual Spider-Man one. So yeah, this is the only design I didn't draw myself with glasses because, as everyone knows, radioactive spider bites cure myopia. And it could be uncomfortable to wear glasses either below or over the mask. So I'm slightly less nerdy looking in this one universe. Back in 2019, I was so excited about the upcoming release of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I remember talking to my friends about how unfair it was that it was released during our finals week in senior year, when I could have been too busy studying to play. And I jokingly said that I wish they could give us like a week off to play or something. Fast forward to March 20, 2020. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I didn't really mean it. I haven't touched that game in a while, but I'll be forever grateful to it for keeping me somewhat sane during those times. I also played the DS games as a kid, so I have a lot of fond memories of this franchise. And come on, the character designs are so cute! For the most part. I didn't wanna draw myself as the human villager because, let's be honest, I can just create that in the game. So I decided to draw myself as one of those crossing animals. I picked a seal because you probably wouldn't have guessed this, but they are my favorite animal. I gave it a shirt similar to my Sona, changing the pocket for a little seashell. The only seal in the franchise is Phineas, so I tried to make it a cohesive design without copying him. The only challenge of this design was painting the illustration in a way that fakes the 3D style of the game, but even then, I finished it pretty quickly, unlike the next style. Out of all the art styles I have done for this video, without a shadow of a doubt, the most challenging and time-consuming was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That is in great part because I wanted to design a stand for myself, which you might think is unnecessary, but as I always say, never miss an opportunity to draw yourself as a stand user from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. For the people who have never heard about it, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a manga and anime about... Hold on, give me a moment. I need to find a way to explain the story in a brief way. Okay, so the story at its core is about the Joestar family. Its arc or part of the series focuses on a different generation of the Joestar and the strange paranormal situations that happen to them. Part 1 of the series focuses on Jonathan Joestar, the heir of a wealthy family who must protect it from being inherited by his evil adoptive brother Dio, who eventually finds a strange stone mask that turns him into an extremely powerful vampire. In Part 3, around 100 years later, Dio is back, and Jonathan's grandson, his great-great-grandson, 3 other dudes, and a dog go on a quest to defeat him. Here we get introduced to stands, a representation of people's spirits, and every single one of them have unique abilities. Yeah, here's what I wanted to get to. The stands. Let me explain my stand a little bit. Orinoco Flow. This stand can absorb any liquid and transmutate its properties. I use my stand to turn Coke into Pepsi to play psychological torture into my foes, making them question their sense of reality. I could also turn their sweat into acid, but this is way more fun and fits more for a JoJo scenario. I had a blast designing my stand, and also the stand user. I couldn't just wear a normal outfit. If you design a JoJo character based on yourself, you either commit to it or don't do it, but never disrespect Jonathan's legacy. Okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of this show, but both my patrons and my friends really wanted me to try to mimic its style, so putting my own opinions aside for this one, I really can't ignore how groundbreaking for adult animation this show was, and it sure has an iconic art style that people love. That's right, I'm talking about Family Guy! Hope you're happy, guys, I did it! When I was in middle school, I remember watching those old Family Guy compilations and thinking they were the funniest shit ever. I still giggle when I see some clips out of context. It's amazing how much funnier that show is when you're not really watching it. My patrons were very insistent in me drawing the Family Guy death pose, so I hope you're happy. I sure aren't. And here are all the styles for this video. I'd love to hear your opinions. Which one do you like the most? Which one could have been better? Is there any other style that you think I could have done? I would recommend to any artist to try this challenge with their favorite styles, not only because it's a great exercise to try to analyze why you like a certain art style and find ways to replicate it, but also because, come on, I know you want to draw yourself as a JoJo. Oh, but that's cringe. Yeah, but the only thing cringer is caring about if people find you cringe, so you do you. But you know what's not cringe? My patrons! Thank you to Blanca Lee Jones, Sprocket Rocket, D, NetTip Art, Orsi T, Austin Graff, and Jinx Studios. Thank you so much for watching. I post a new video every other week, usually. So if you wanna see more videos similar to this one, consider subscribing. Bye!